Good afternoon, college football fans, and welcome to the Season 2 finale of 3 and Out College Edition right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Well, here we are, ladies and gentlemen. Saturday, we have our show right before, well, actually, we got off the air right after kickoff of the FCS National Championship, and boy, was that uneventful. I wanted to try to make a pick that would be like, hey, that's a great upset, and well, I picked the wrong upset because Montana State got waxed by North Dakota State. The Bison got down, and boy, oh boy, if there was ever an upset, it was last night as Georgia came out playing defense galore, and well, Alabama would be the team to go home with an L. And Georgia, for the first time since 1980, earning a national championship. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you're ready and set, because who are we? You are tuned in live to 3 and Out College Edition right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Welcome, college football fans. My goodness, what a show. What a season, and what a freaking game we had last night. My goodness. The one on Saturday was nowhere near as good as this one. But hey, I guess you gotta take them where they land, right? You gotta take the ones that are good and enjoy them, and the ones that are bad, well, I mean, they're not really bad, but, you know, the lopsided ones, just say, all right, well, yeah, I guess that was cool. So, with that said, ladies and gentlemen, we have a half an hour of power tonight, as we'll be on for the next 30 minutes talking, commercial-free, talking about these two games. And, well, to do that, I'm bringing on my co-host. He, of course, is co-host of the show, 3 and Out College Edition. He is diehard volleyball fan, and of course the founder and host of Set Point, our volleyball show here at IE Sports Radio. He is, on top of that, he's so many things. He's the founder and host of our Southern California sports show here on IE Sports Radio, the SoCal Spring Sports Show, and he is, head of the PR department here at IE Sports Radio, and, of course, IE Sports Radio Hall of Famer class of 2020. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in my boy, Mr. Teran Rodriguez. What's going on, brother? How you doing today, man?
Hey, Larry D. It is great to hear from you. I'm glad to be doing some college football with you, and let's get it started for one last time, man.
Let's get it going, but we can barely hear you, brother. You're kind of far from the phone?
How's that?
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So, I'm glad, man. Well, as you said, man, one last time for this season. We are ready to roll. So, I gotta say, Teran, wow. I mean, let's just jump right into the games. We're commercial-free tonight, so let's get with it. And, of course, big ups to our sponsors, the SoCal Warriors, team I play for. You can follow them at SoCal Warriors on Twitter, at Southern California _Warriors on Instagram, and, of course, at Southern California Warriors on Facebook. And, of course, if you need a background check, businesses out there, and you are looking for a nice, affordable background check, our boy Kit Freeman has you covered. Make sure to follow Kit and his background check services for only legal purposes. Nothing illegal now, y'all. No fraud, none of that nonsense. We got none of that crap in this world. But make sure you check out Background Check International at BCINT.com. And of course, give them a follow or a like on Facebook at Background Check International space BCI. So, with that said, Teran, Saturday, we got off air We got off air right before this game, or sorry, right after this game kicked off. And of course, I am talking about the FCS National Championship game. I said I want an upset. You said North Dakota was gonna win this thing, and well, Teran, North Dakota didn't win. They smashed the Bobcats of Montana State, 38-10. This game wasn't even close. From the start, it was just, I mean, the first quarter, I gotta say, the Bobcats came out and fought. 7-0 at the end of the first quarter. But Teran, 3 unanswered, well, 4 technically altogether, but 3 more touchdowns added in the second quarter, 28-0 at the half. It was just a beatdown. The only competitive points, I gotta say, from Montana State was a field goal in the third quarter. And they did have a garbage time touchdown. I hate to say that, but it's the truth, with 5:08 to go in the game, making it at least 38-10, not 38-3. But yeah, that one will come to a close. And well, Teran, for the 9th time in 11 years, the North Dakota State Bison will earn a national championship. Teran, this team is almost unreal. You know, a couple years ago, they looked like they were fizzling a little bit. But boy, did they shut everybody up. Teran, this game was very lopsided, and, well, it was just very, as I keep on saying, very uneventful. What were your thoughts on this thing?
Yeah, I really was impressed with North Dakota State. Cam Miller didn't even need to do much. All he had was just one passing touchdown. The damage mainly done from North Dakota State was mainly their rushing, as they had 156 yards on the ground. Like, they didn't even need to do all that much, considering altogether their offense. North Dakota State had 380 yards on the ground. Montana State had 156 yards on the ground. So that's where North Dakota State did most of its damage, just because Montana State just had no answer for the run game. Like, North Dakota State had nearly 2 players crack 100 yards. They had Quentin Patterson, the former North Dakota State quarterback, have 98 rushing yards, and then their leading rusher was Kobe Johnson, who had 106 yards. So all in all, I think North Dakota really punished Montana State with the run game, and it really showed. And again, North Dakota State didn't even need too much from Cam Miller. And you have to like how Quincy Patterson just had a big game. And keep in mind, Quincy was the starting quarterback for North Dakota State, and then he had himself a rough game. I don't remember who they played against. I think it was maybe North Dakota or something, but he eventually got replaced for Cam Miller, and then Patterson had to develop a new role for the Bison, and he really came up big in that role. So it all worked out in the end for Patterson, despite him losing the job pretty much permanently to Miller. But I feel for Montana State, they tried their hardest, but they were facing a powerhouse in North Dakota State. But they can hang their hats on an amazing season.
I completely agree, Teran. I mean, really, there was nothing they can do. It's kind of funny. You said a couple of days ago, well, I mean, not a couple of days ago, but you had said that this team was going to make it happen. I just wanted the upset because I was like, come on, man. Like, North Dakota State, either go to freaking single A, or freaking go to single A, or good, go backwards, get upset. Like, I'm sorry. I know it's really mean, but come on, man. I mean, this team needs to join. They really do. This team, Teran, you know as well as I do, they need to move it up. They need to bump it up, man. They have to get to be a part of a major conference. I mean, my goodness, put this team part of the Big 12. I mean, seriously. there's no way that this team couldn't compete. Like, seriously. I don't know if they... the Idaho Vandals went down to FCS a couple of years ago. They were in single A. They were in the FBS. So why can't this North Dakota team? They'll have to go through that stupid, and I mean absolutely stupid probation period. Also, no, they don't, because they're not going from D2 to D1. They're already D1. So, yeah, I think they'll be just fine. However, I mean, hey, I think they would compete. They'll be able to compete. Big ups to Angela Winstead and Pierre Moss in the chat room. Angela says, hey, guys, have a great show. Thank you, Angela. Pierre says, hold it down, fellas. Well, thank you very much. I just, really, at the end of the day, Teran, this game just shows you how powerful this team really is. And by the way, courtesy of their Twitter, I was just looking at their Twitter. Teran, if you didn't know, well, you will in a few moments. But you're going to be so shocked. I mean, I doubt, Teran, you're going to fall over right now, because the AFCA Coach of the Year is none other than North Dakota State's own Matt Ince. So yeah, he certainly earned that title. 9 titles in 11 years. All but 2 championships. I mean, it's unreal. It's unreal what they've done there. It's unreal, what they've been able to do. And the coach from Montana State, forgot his name. But, he's definitely a piece of North Dakota State, but couldn't beat his old team. So anyway, Teran, yeah, you brought up the stats there, and really fast before we dive off into the FBS National Championship. I mean, overall, it was just unreal. You said Miller, yeah. Miller, 9 for 13, 126 yards, 1 touchdown. It's true, he didn't have to do much, man. He really didn't. Johnson really got down on the ground. 4 carries, 106 yards, 1 touchdown. And Watson, 4 receptions and 61 yards. Overall, man, this game was it was 100% Bison. And congratulations to these guys. They did it again. So I really hope they move up. I mean, seriously, Teran, I hope they move up. They need to move up. So with that said, we'll close the book, close the door on the FCS season, and well, Teran, here we are, man. Last night, well, a game that, I mean, ESPN called it, I guess. They had Georgia State, they had Georgia favored, and the Bulldogs came out and delivered. Wow. A part of me wants to say that this Georgia defense was probably the sole reason why this entire team really, really, really played as well as they did. But I'm definitely not going to, what's the word, Teran? Underrate the play of Stetson Bennett, which, he wasn't phenomenal. I mean, his completion was not bad, 17 for 26. He threw for 224 yards. He threw 2 touchdowns. Awesome. I don't know. I still don't know if we can call him elite, but who cares at this point in time? The young man, it's just a dream. This guy was a Georgia native or a Georgia fan growing up his whole life. He went there, he left, he came back. I saw so much on Twitter last night about this guy. More than I even knew. And then he starts over JT Daniels. We know a few things about him, don't we, Teran? And he freaking starts, man, and he helps take this team to a victory. Now, once again, without this defense, I mean, of course it takes a team, but this defense got down. Regardless, though, man, overall, great game by both teams. I loved it because it was very defensive. White had 13 carries for 84 yards, almost got to the century mark with 1 touchdown. Pickens, 1 reception, 52 yards, was the longest of the day for anybody from Georgia. And just, wow, incredible performance by this defense. What I got to take a look at really quick, too, in the team stats is a possession. look at, once again, Teran, there's not a big difference here. Georgia actually had it 3 minutes less in football time. 28 minutes and 29 seconds, their possession, and 31 minutes, 31 seconds for Alabama. So really, Teran, there wasn't much here. Just some costly turnovers, as you always like to point out, because you're right. Alabama, of course, turned it over twice. The big one, of course, at the end, the pick six. And just, from Bryce Young. And overall, man, I think just really... Now, don't get me wrong. Alabama did score on a turnover. They did. And I just thought this was very, very, very good for a good performance, by Alabama's defense. But at the end of the day, man, let's be real, their defense kind of crumbled. When it mattered the most, Alabama's defense fell apart, and I was very surprised at that. But Georgia, they stepped up. The defense was nasty all game long. Yes, it's Alabama. They're going to get their licks. But my goodness, what a game. Final score, 33-18. Ladies and gentlemen, congratulations to the 2021/2022 College Football Playoff National Champions, the Georgia Bulldogs. My goodness. First national championship since 1980. Teran, neither you or me were around in 1980. And this is their third in program history. Teran, I want to know every thought from last night while you were watching this game.
So, yeah, this was a big win for Georgia. Finally, Kirby Smart was able to get the better of Nick Saban. The student finally got taught from the student finally taught the teacher, and honestly, they came up big. It looked as if it was going to be a chess match, and eventually that first score from Georgia really broke the ice, and it eventually got Georgia going. And I think Stetson Bennett deserves a lot of credit considering he had a nasty fumble, which I'm surprised it was ruled a fumble. I thought his arm came forward and whatnot, but I digress on that. But he had a nasty fumble, and honestly, he made up for that by throwing a 40-yard bomb to, I think his last name was Mitchell. But either way, it was just a big win for Georgia. They really impressed, and they were as good as advertised. I think it is safe to say that Georgia really put the world on notice that they are indeed for real, and that 2022 is the year of the dog. And you have to love that Georgia defense. And it was just absolutely phenomenal. And they have some studs that could probably go in the first round. So we'll have to see where those players end up. But I can imagine players like Jordan Davis and Darion Kendrick and many others will probably be drafted maybe in the first round.
Oh, I completely agree. Unfortunate news coming out of Georgia last night. Jameson Williams will have torn his ACL. Unfortunately, that is such a bummer. But I did read a tweet earlier that was very uplifting for fans of his, Georgia Bulldog fans, and of course, anybody who's looking for this man to succeed. Adam Schefter posted that he did confirm that he did tear his ACL last night. Of course, Alabama. I'm sorry, Jameson Williams. He did tear his ACL, but that doctors believe that after surgery, within 10 days, Teran, he will return to his sub 4.3 speed, and they expect a full recovery. Isn't that something, Teran?
Yeah, that is a little surprising. And honestly, I feel bad for him tearing his ACL. That was obviously saddening, but injuries are sadly part of the game. You can't turn off injuries like you can in Madden. Otherwise, the world would be a much better place. So, all in all, I wish you nothing but the best going forward.
Yeah, same here, man. You were in our prayers, Jameson Williams, and I just feel that it sucks. Injuries are part of the game, but heal up, young man, and God be with you. And I guess I pray for a fast, speedy recovery for him, and hopefully
he'll come back stronger than ever.
I'm right there with you, Teran. I'm right there with you. He'll come back stronger than ever, and I just pray that he does it. So, Yeah, and Angelo says it here in the comments. After an ACL tear, that's a fast recovery. And it's true. I mean, that's incredible. Think about that. I mean, we've seen Adrian Peterson come back after a full year, I believe. So, um, I mean, that's incredible. I don't know if they meant. That tweet was a little. I'm not sure how to take it. I don't know if they meant like if they do the surgery within 10. It seems like he said if they do surgery within 10 days that he will return to his full speed. I don't know if it's actually gonna be like by this draft. I don't know. It might have to take a year, but they might be saying from that tweet. I think at least from my thoughts because that's a major surgery and a major tear and just a lot to come back from. Teran, I would think that it would be if he would have to, get that surgery and recover for about a year, and then he'll be back to himself. But my goodness, if he recovers by the draft, by the combine even, my goodness, that's 2 months. Like, wow, I really don't know if that's realistic, but hey, however it goes, it's in God's hands. So I just pray for him to make a healthy recovery, no matter when it is. So, but with that said, we don't want to go ahead and give out any false information or anything of him, them saying that he's going to be back at this time. But that's just, that's my personal thoughts there on his timetable of return to football. But I will say this: what an incredible game! What a presence by this Georgia football team. Just tons of defense last night, man. But oh my goodness, Georgia got down. I mean, it wasn't until the very end either. They would, if we take a look at the scoring here, it was pretty good. It was a good game, man. First quarter, 3-0 Alabama. At the end of the second, it was 9-6. We had field goals exchanged during this one. So, pretty cool. I liked that. I liked seeing all these field goals switching hands. Then we had in the third quarter, our first touchdown of the game came in the third quarter. 13-9 with 1:20 to go. And then we have the fourth quarter. Alabama was not going to go down without a fight. Alabama was, of course, aiming to dominate and come back sometimes as they usually do. They fill out in the first round in the first half, and they come back out and they dominate. Well, it wasn't to be. This Georgia Bulldogs defense was 100% up to the task last night. And though Alabama did score, they got a field goal and a touchdown in that first half of the fourth quarter. Well, close to the end of the first half of that fourth quarter, we get a touchdown, Georgia. Stetson Bennett to Adonai Mitchell, 40-yard pass into the end zone. The 2-point conversion failed, but Teran, it was enough. It was enough to put the Bulldogs up 19-18, and then it just happened. 3 minutes and 33 seconds to go. I'm not going to say this was the dagger, because this was not the dagger. This was definitely not the dagger. But my goodness, did it have a dagger feel to it, because it was so late in the game. Stetson Bennett will find his man again. Brock Bowers, 15 yards into the end zone. And there we go. Stetson Bennett goes from throwing no touchdowns the whole game. The earlier one came from Zamir White in the third quarter with the 1-yard carry into the end zone. And Jack Polden-C, I believe. I don't butcher his name, but I guess did. Sorry, man. With the extra point. But Teran, how about this? With 3:33 to go, there we go. Bennett to Bowers, 15-yard pass into the end zone. Extra point is good. It's 26-18. Alabama now has to score a touchdown here, and of course, a 2-point conversion to at least tie this thing up. Teran, Alabama was actually looking all right. They had a few plays to get them down the field. And what happens? Bryce Young drops back, delivers a ball, and Kaylee Ringo will pick this thing off, take it 79 yards the other way. Jack Plenty with the extra point, and with 54 seconds to go in this football game, Darren, it just seemed insurmountable at that point in time. It's all she wrote. I'm not saying Alabama couldn't have gotten down to in the red zone or even score a touchdown of their own, but it's just too much of a tall order. You have 54 seconds to go. You just scored. I'm sorry, the other team just scored on a freaking pick six. Not just any pick six, a 79-yard pick six, man. He ran that thing back. Pick six into the end zone. Freaking under a minute to go. You need a touchdown. You need a fast touchdown. Okay? You need a recovered onside kick. And you need another touchdown. Oh my gosh. That's just too much to ask in so little time. Now, is it doable? Anything's possible, you guys. But, oh man. It was a tall order, and well, Alabama couldn't complete it. Georgia pulled this thing off and just, at that point in time, Teran, when did you finally, because there was a point in that game, I think a lot of people, it came from that pick six. But was there a point in this game before that pick six, Teran? I'm curious, that you said, oh my gosh, Georgia might actually win this game? Or were you like me and was like, no, Bama's going to do something crazy, walks, they're going to pull it out, and then the pick six happened? I don't know, Teran, where were you at, man? How were you feeling before that pick six?
I was like, can Bryce Young really do it? Can he really come back and get Alabama another come-from-behind victory? Because he had one come-from-behind victory against Auburn in the Iron Bowl. He eventually took that game to overtime where Alabama just barely won that one. And I was thinking, I feel Bryce Young might have a comeback up his sleeve. But then that pick six occurred. And I can't really blame Bryce Young for trying that just because he tried to get Alabama down the field. Like, Alabama is known for having big plays when it comes to their offense. Like, they always deliver that dart to said receiver down the field. And he tried to do that then, but unfortunately the corner picked it off. And I thought it wasn't even going to be returned for a touchdown. I thought it was at least going to be returned into Alabama territory, but then he went all the way. He had blockers available, and that was pretty much all he wrote right there. And I give credit to Bryce Young. He did all he can to try to keep Bama in the game. The defense also tried to do their part as well. Like, I feel Bryce Young will be back on that stage just because Alabama does have some great personnel on that team, and they always have big recruiting classes. And while we were talking about JT Daniels and Bryce Young, both modern-day guys, we forgot all about Tommy Brown on the offensive line,
yes,
who also was a modern-day grad. So just need to throw that out there.
I didn't even think about that. I didn't even know about that, Teran. That's amazing, man. Well, modern day, as you can see, just makes champions. Overall, Teran, I wanna just throw this out there. Okay, what next? Bryce Young, you just said you feel that he's going to be back on that stage. And honestly, Teran, I do too. Alabama's too good. They're not going anywhere, okay? They've been beaten in the national championship before, and they come out and win more. Nick Saban is the man, okay? And I said yesterday in the IE Sports Radio chat room, this guy was against the transfer portal. He was. And what happens? Nothing changed, so he's like, screw it, I'll use it to my advantage, and now people are hating on him for that. But I gotta tell you right now, Teran, this dude, and I didn't know about that actually, Matt the Great on YouTube, really cool channel, check him out. I did not know that before. I thought it was really cool. I enjoy watching his videos. But I'll tell you what, man, this is just amazing to think that no matter what, Matt Be Great on YouTube. If you guys haven't checked him out yet, check him out. He's actually really cool, really informational, and really, really good stuff, really good videos made there. But also, just, more videos from Low Raps, another guy that I really, really like on YouTube. And just, some cool people there. But I got to tell you right now, Teran, do you feel, or shall I say, what next for Stetson Bennett? Do you think he did enough? I mean, he's a senior. That's his last game in a Dogs uniform. I mean, what a way to go out, right? But do you think that this young man has a good chance at an NFL roster? I'm not saying he's going to be a first-round pick, Teran. I'm not saying that. But I'm just saying last night he played pretty good. I thought he was solid. Some people may say that he didn't do that great. I thought, he threw 3 freaking touchdowns when it mattered most. I mean, the guy is definitely not a bad quarterback. But do you think he's still going to get hate? Do you think people are still going to be like, he ain't all that? I mean, is he going to be a Tom Brady where, he gets picked up in the 6th round and freaking comes out and balls and becomes, one of the greats to ever play the game? Is he going to be somebody that's like, he played, but he was average, middle of the road. At least he made it. Or is he going to be somebody that, this might have been his biggest moment? I mean, really, Teran, what are you thinking about Stetson Bennett in this amazing story right now?
So I think Stetson could possibly be a quarterback. Like, it's up to him if he wants to or if he wants to possibly just declare for the draft. And I feel he can, but we'll have to see. Like, if he does go in the 6th round and he gets picked up and he eventually leads a team to the Super Bowl and whatnot, then that would be awesome if he did. But we'll have to. It's just all about if he wants to declare for the draft. Keep in mind, Bennett was actually behind JT Daniels, and then JT Daniels got hurt midway through the season, and then Bennett just rose to the occasion and just ran with the position of quarterback. So I think for Stetson Bennett, the sky could be the limit for him. Like, it all depends on how he runs, how he does in his 40-yard dashes and his evaluations. I think Bennett has that potential. I don't think he has the impact like Mac Jones did, but not everyone has that it factor in their rookie year. Everyone struggles in their rookie year for the most part, as look at Peyton Manning and whatnot. And even Brady had his struggles. He never really got to play his rookie year.
Absolutely, and great points there, Teran. I mean, overall, man, I just got to say, what a season for this young man. He did step up in a tough time. I don't know why I thought I didn't know Daniels. It was a tough year. I didn't watch as much as I wanted to, but I didn't know he got hurt. However, hey, some guys take that starting position and never look back when someone gets injured, and just what a special time for this young man, and if this is as far as he goes, and he might wash the NFL, then you know what, man, what a way to end your football career on a big stage. And if he goes into the NFL and plays well, and he's, just middle of the road and okay, hey, he got a chance to put on an NFL jersey and play quarterback in the NFL. That's pretty awesome. And if he ends up being all-time great, well, then you know what, man? It all started here. Well, it started a long time ago, but this was just another big part of his career, and that'll be remembered. So, I mean, realistically, anything can happen. And I just feel like he's solid. He's a good player. Like I said, I don't know. I just feel like we have seen this young man come out and play ball and look good. So him, and then Bryce Young, of course, I do believe he's got a very strong future ahead of him. So overall, man, just what a great game and what a job. Kirby Smart. Now, I want to hear about Kirby Smart. What do you think? I mean, you said it earlier, of course, the student beating the teacher. He's been under Nick Saban's thumb, basically, whether anybody wants to put it that way or not. Teran, what do you really feel about this, man? Kirby Smart just making it happen, finally getting it done. Do you feel that Kirby Smart is going to be at Georgia for years to come, or do you think I don't know. He might get a even bigger payday somewhere else and head there. I mean, how are you feeling about Kirby Smart in Georgia at this time? Do you think it's a oh no, Teran? Is this Nick's the second coming of Nick Saban, and when he retires, Georgia's not going to be the powerhouse? Or I don't know. I mean, there's so many scenarios. What do you think about that, Teran, with the coaching situation?
I think that would be quite that Georgia has finally risen to the occasion. Now, it all depends on what the future looks like for Georgia going forward. Will most of their defense return? Will Alabama have key returners as well? What will the incoming class for 2022 bring to the table for both Georgia and Alabama? And will Bill O'Brien stay as offensive coordinator for Alabama? Those are all the million-dollar questions that everyone should be asking. And for me, I think Georgia has kind of, I wouldn't say fully turned this thing into a rivalry, but they have emerged as maybe a possible threat in the SEC. Once again, it all depends on who they have as their quarterback, who they have returning on their defense. Like, can they have the same scheme? Will other teams be adapting to Georgia's scheme and just watching film on that? So I think Georgia, for the time being, has the potential for dubious success, but you can never count out Alabama, and the entire SEC as a whole is just freaking challenging.
Agreed, Teran. Well, I'll tell you right now, man. That was a lot of fun, and what a season. Big ups to Mike Pat in the chat room, by the way. This is good evening, gentlemen. Good evening, gentlemen. Good evening to you, Mr. Mike Pat, and thank you for everybody tuning in tonight. Well, Teran, we only got a few more minutes left here, of course. We got Philly Sports Talk coming up in just a little bit. We thank Mr. Ben Matello for going on earlier today with the Yinzer Report, and of course, you got us going on right now. You got Philly Sports Talk with Cash and Chris coming up after us, and then after them, the Neutral Zone with Mr. Zachary Publis and Mr. Adam Karnick. So lots of great shows here on iSports Radio today. But I gotta tell you one thing, Teran. What a season! It was special. It was special through and through. And man, we've seen so many things this year. We've seen USC, just our team, of course, plays horrible. We've seen that happen. That was kind of annoying. We've seen, an amazing Cotton Bowl. We've seen, the Red River rivalry, that is. We've seen some great bowls this year. We've had some, my goodness, some dang near controversial COVID pullouts for the bowl games. We've seen, of course, lots of players, decline to play in those games. Of course, that's nothing new, but we've seen that happen. We've seen San Diego State rise, fall, and kind of rise again. We've seen almost the team play in 2 bowl games for the first time ever in one season. What do you call it? Of course, that wouldn't happen thanks to the San Diego State AD. This is fine, but with his, as you said, Teran, his very special answer, no, or his very plain answer, no. But we got to see that this year. We got to see so much, man. We got to see Cincinnati come out of nowhere and ball and just get to this Final Four. And they didn't make it, but my goodness, they played well. They got there. We got to see Army beat Navy for, a second year in a row? Or how many years? Army, I remember seeing Army and Navy like 10, 12, 15 years ago, and it was always Navy. Now it's like Army's getting down. We got to see that happen. We got to see Clemson kind of fall apart, but then make somewhat of a comeback, I guess. I don't know. We got to see so many things happening this year. The Big 12. Really, Oklahoma State showing that they're, a solid team here. But at the same time, OU, I just feel like that. Oh, I'm sorry. And yes, that was Navy beating Army. I'm sorry. Yes, Angela, sorry. But yes, Navy beating Army, of course, huge. And that was a Navy team that wasn't very good. They were not that solid at all. The Black Knights were actually the heavily favored team. They came in playing extremely well. Navy, yes, they took this game back to Annapolis, winning this thing. So big ups there for them. Sorry about that, Angela. My apologies. There's so many things going on right now. So many football memories from this year going on. It's like a blur. We've seen Michigan knocking off Ohio State for the first time in freaking forever. That was incredible. That was Coach, absolutely incredible, man, to see Coach Harbaugh's first win over Ohio State. Michigan even getting to this Final Four, to the College Football Playoff, losing, but they got there when so many people, including myself, said they wouldn't. We've seen Penn State just become a mediocre team. That's crazy. We've seen Michigan State be extremely competitive this year. That was really cool to see. I can't wait to see what Sparty's got coming in the future. I mean, Teran, there's just so many things. I want to see Notre Dame come out of nowhere. And, Notre Dame, man. They played, and they played well for the majority of the year. And then we seen Oklahoma State come out of nowhere on the team that came out of nowhere and, came back and beat Notre Dame for the first time they've ever been beaten after being up by 3 touchdowns, I believe. That happened this year. The Mountain West was extremely, extremely competitive. Utah State, the Aggies, earning a title this year. Oregon just looking terrible and having moments where they just looked like this whole thing needs to be hit the restart button. Utah earning it this year, making it happen. However, falling into Ohio State, where Ohio State came back in the Rose Bowl. Alabama falling to Georgia, of course. Being the cherry on top this year. Teran, there are so many things to go over. And yes, Angela says, this Navy girl will remember that. Absolutely, Angela. But Teran, in closing, brother, we only got 4 minutes left here, man. In closing, what was your most memorable moment of the year?
There's just so many memorable moments. I think one of the memorable moments, and this might come to you as a surprise, I think the memorable moment was Kansas defeating Texas, which earned them their first Big 12 win of the season. And everyone on Twitter just lit up a firestorm when Kansas defeated the Longhorns. It was just so unbelievably shocking. I don't think anyone predicted that. And boy, howdy, Longhorns fans were just not happy about that. And this was actually just a disappointing season for Texas. That was probably my biggest surprise and one of my more memorable moments of Kansas defeating Texas in that Big 12 game. But other than that, I think there are just a lot of memorable moments to choose from. And I think that one kind of sticks out. Also, Cincinnati being the first non-Power 5 conference to make the college football playoff. It just seems like yesterday that the season even started. So, and then obviously the best soundbite, in my opinion, was Ed Ogeron when he said, "Bring your hands on any little Disney blue shirts." That might have been the best soundbite. If not Nick Saban saying, "That rat poison you all just left out, that was yummy." Yeah?
Well, Teran, it was a special season, man. And, so many great games. I don't even know if I could name just one, but dude, there were so many good games this year. If I gotta pick a memory, I'm telling you, man, Oklahoma nearly losing to Kansas was huge. But man, I gotta say that Cotton Bowl, or the Red River Rivalry, had to have been one of my favorites. Texas leading pretty big here. My goodness, they led 38-20 at one point in time. Oklahoma came all the way back, storming back to win this thing, and they won it with 3 seconds on the clock. I was looking at that right now. That was back in week. My goodness, when the heck was that? That was a lot. That was crazy. That was a while back. That was on October 9th. So yeah, somewhere right around there. But anyway, Teran, with that said, brother, final words this year before we get off on air. What you got, man?
Final words is, I can't believe it's over. Also, another memorable college football moment was OCC winning 3-0 over, I think it was UCLA College.
Yeah.
That was the true game of the year in terms of college things altogether. But all in all, it was just a fun season. I loved doing a full season of College Edition with you. It was just awesome. And let's do it again next year.
Oh, we certainly will, brother. So with that said, you know the time, man. Cue the music, because we're out of here, y'all. So, I completely agree with the Teran. Let's do this again next year, brother. We have plenty of shows, a couple more shows coming up for the, we got the Shrine Bowl, we got the NFLPA Bowl, and we got the Senior Bowl coming up, so we'll have those dates out for you. And, well, there you have it. Teran, where can they find you?
Find me on Twitter at Teran Rodriguez 1. That's where my main content is. You can also find Set Point on Twitter and the SoCal Supreme Sports Show in my bio. So there's that.
You can follow me up over there via the THE_LB53 and follow us all as a whole at IE Sports Radio on Twitter, Instagram, and on Facebook. Well, City College of San Francisco won it in the CCAA. We had in the NJCAA. Talk about a crazy victory there for New Mexico Military Institute. Going in Division III, Mary Hardin Baylor. In Division II, Ferris State with the blowout victory. In the NAIA, Morningside got it done this year in the FCS. Well, we know how that one went, man. We had, of course, North Dakota State getting it done. And we all saw last night, Alabama will make it happen. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry, Georgia. I guess. See, I want to say Alabama still, because that's how good Alabama really is. But Georgia made it happen. Ladies and gentlemen, that has been a season. You can catch Teran and myself coming back in a few weeks to talk about some of these All-Star games. This has been Free and Out College Edition right here on IE Sports Radio. Your directory for all that is sports. We'll see y'all soon. Until then, take care. And as always, God bless.